Hello, hello, hello. What's good, everybody? It is Wednesday night, so it is time to get into some Westworld Wednesdays. And the man coming down and taking this trip with me is, of course, the one, the realist, the host you know the most. What's up, Phantom? How you doing today?
Yo, I'm pretty much feeling like the host, Man in Black, every time Shaw was talking within
Yo,
episode 5, because
feeling.
I was like, what's going on? Because I barely remember this episode 5 and 6.
Oh, we're going off of memory. Yeah, it's been. We were supposed to do this last week, and I just fast forwarded through the two episodes just to get a quick refresher. So we're gonna try to make it happen. We're gonna bring it back. Oh man, even things are a little bit blurry. I just got back from the eye doctor, and they put a bunch of stuff in my eyes, checking everything out, and now everything's blurry. I can't see anything. So told me to go to the dollar store and just pick up a pair of dollar glasses. So we're gonna rock them tonight. And I'll tell you what, folks, it is crazy the difference with these things right now. But we're gonna rock it. We're gonna make it happen because the show must go on, and we're gonna keep it moving with Westworld Season 4, Episode 5, Zhangzi. And Zhangzi is one of the two foundational texts of Taoism. And pretty much what I got from this episode is that a so-called perfect world isn't perfect. Like humans actually need hardships and failures. So when we figure it out and make it right, we actually become happier. Like there can be no happiness in victory unless you've experienced defeat. What do you think about all that?
Of course, there's like no such thing as anything perfect, really. And isn't I just realized that this whole world they've been like showing us is just like what the hosts have been going up what's the human world, and it's still shitty.
Oh, what's up, Jay Cruz? I see you out there. We got the imagination realm in the house. Welcome, welcome. Oh, yeah, there might be a few trivia questions at the end. We'll see. You might know more than you know. Who knows? More than you think you do. We will see what's up. But when we open with Walloris telling us that they didn't make a better world, they made a perfect one. But it doesn't seem so perfect to me because, or Hale would like he would, or to Hale or even to Walloris, like neither one of them think it's perfect. Isn't that what makes life worth living? Like its imperfections. If there were no hardships and everything was just given, we'd all literally die of boredom and become brain dead. Like host for a lack, we'd all become host for lack of a better term. What do you think?
Not for her, she thought that she created. That's why she's so pissed off at it. She thought,
But
oh, fine. Finally, I've won. I can create a perfect world. But in reality, no, you still failed. You lost your freaking supposedly husband and kid last season. Now you thought you're gonna pretty much like conquer the world, which she pretty much did. But you thought you can create like your own world, but that still failed.
And speaking of creating, I mean, we're all pretty much created by our surroundings, aren't we? I mean, that's all Dolores, but we see all the different versions of her and how they're all kind of taking their own little forms and their own little personalities because of their situations. Like Dolores got put in with that fake family, fell in love with them, and then she lost her mind when she lost him. And regular Dolores never had that, so it wasn't a thing. So I think we're more shaped by our surroundings than anything else, is what I think that's showing.
I'm surprised yet again she still hasn't created them yet. Or maybe she has and they just ended up like infidelity tests and they all just end up killing themselves.
Oh, I didn't break. I didn't clear the history. Now I see that little arrows coming up. Hopefully, we're not stalling too bad for everybody out there. But is this opening scene current or in the future? Do you think?
No, I think it's current. I think everything past that whole what was it, episode what was it? Yeah, episode 4 was it, right? With the whole him dying, quote unquote, coming back. Caleb, there we go. Almost a space on his name. Like everything should be current time now.
What do we call him? The Charlotte bot? I always call her Shaloris.
I
We
call
got
her Charlotte Hale.
Shaloris. We got Shaloris. We got Willoris. That's the one in the Men in Black. William. Dolores, Shaloris. Got a brother, Dolores number one.
Charlotte Hale. Like oh Hale, Charlotte. Whichever makes you happy.
He's like, oh, we'll be bouncing around calling them all different names. But William was intrigued how the host he was talking to seemed to truly believe his story arc. Like it wasn't an act. Like, are the hosts actually evolving? And if so, at what point do they become sentient?
You talking about those couple at the dinner party?
Mm-hmm.
Were they human or were they hosts is the question.
Well, they were hosts. I mean, they stayed there and didn't move when he told them not to move. Like those weren't
This type of move was different. Like they were like shaking at one point, trying, hoping that they could move, but they couldn't.
Yeah, that was because of host. That was because the alpha host told them not to move. So yeah, it was crazy. Call her bitter Dolores. MIB is Walloris. Absolutely. Yep. Walloris is the MIB because remember, that's not really the MIB. That's just another host made up of in her ball in there. So yeah, they try to confuse the hell out of us. It's hard to keep them straight, but we're gonna do it. And what is it with these hosts and their wine? Like Clementine just picked up old girl's glass and started slamming it right in front of her like it was no big deal. Like, why are they so into alcohol? I mean, I get it, but why are they so into it?
This is your never-ending like thing with freaking wine in the show with the host, DJ. Just leave it be, man. Just leave it be.
They be drinking. They be drinking. I'm like, why? I don't get it. They don't need to. It's just, I don't know. It's just so ingrained in their memory program that that's what they got to do, I guess. Is Dolores getting bored in their so-called perfect world, like just like the OG Men in Black got bored with the games in Westworld?
Yeah, most likely. Because even William, he even got bored at a certain point. Then he finally said, "Oh, let me create a new story."
Yeah, to come at it. And then after watching this episode, one thing, Christina is a new host that Hale put a much wiped computer ball into. I think. Yeah. I think Christina is the host that Hale put a much like wiped her ball and just left like certain memories in there. Like she still has the power, she just isn't aware. That's why Hale keeps tabs on her, the same way Ford and Bernard did in the park. You think that's kind of what's happening in there?
You think so?
I don't know. What do you think? You don't? Do you think Hale doesn't have control over her, or she's just watching her? Like, why is Hale keeping tabs on her and meeting with her so often?
I don't think she has control over her, but she did submit to her memory for sure.
You think she wiped part of her memory ball?
Yeah,
Yeah, I definitely think
because
that.
if she had power over her, like then what was the whole point of the whole dinner or the lunch? Questioning her is like, well, if I have control over you, what's the point of the questioning?
Right. She kind of just see where she's going. And she doesn't want to have control over. Her whole thing is like to let people be free and do what they want to
Mm.
do. That's like what later on when the MIB said, why don't you just make us do it? She's like, because that's what they would have done. So, I mean, her point is to let them go. She wants them to all evolve on their own, but they're not doing it. And that seems to be driving her crazy.
Unless she's doing the same thing like she's doing to Caleb in the next episode with the whole questioning thing.
Yeah, question of reality. I mean, that's what they used to have to do, the fidelity test. Absolutely. Maya seems to be having nightmares every night. Like, is her fly trance wearing off? Like, will she end up being an outlier, do you think?
I don't think she's gonna be an outlier.
You don't
I think
think
she's
so?
like still like, undercover agent for Hale.
Well, she just keeps tripping about these dreams she's having every night that seem so real. They're basically not dreams, they're nightmares. And I don't think they're even that. I think that's reality, and her subconscious is remembering it. Like
Because at
what
this
happened.
point it's just a loop and then it just goes back and again and again and again.
Yeah, it's just crazy. Because, yeah, the way she's going, I think she was a human that got fly tranced, and basically the fly trance is wearing off. And if it is wearing off, I think that's what's happening with all the outliers. Their fly trances are wearing off, and they start seeing through it. And that's when they got to get caught and get shot and get put out of the system because they mess it up. We see what happens when other people start interacting with them. Like when the hosts start interacting with a real human that hasn't been fly trance, and they start questioning their reality, and then they just lose their shit completely. Is Christina being watched and monitored at all times, do you think? Like her boss came in straight away saying, I don't remember assigning this. How did he even know what she was working on that fast?
Because again, Hale planted everyone. Planted
So
the
you
roommate, planted the boss. The
so
moment
she
it's like going and like looking stuff up instantly, if something was alerted to that access when she looked up her Dolores Abernathy. So it's like, did something alerted the boss? Did it alerted Hale? Could have been both.
so she's definitely being under 24-hour surveillance, you think?
Hmm.
How did Teddy know Christina's boss was breathing down her neck at that exact moment? And how is Teddy even here? Like, did Dolores put them back together and leave him out in the wild as a failsafe to come back and remind her of who she is, do you think?
Or that's just another Dolores.
Oh, Teddy's just another Dolores?
That's what I'm
Ooh,
thinking.
I love that.
Teddy just another Dolores. Like who else would know Teddy but Dolores?
That would be a mind bender. Because, like I said last stream, like we never saw what happened to that last ball that she snuck out. We never had a body for it. What if that's what it is? What if it's just Dolores in a Teddy body? That would be something. I love
That's
that.
what I expected when I was watching previous season. I'm like, okay, is one of them Teddy? And the next thing you know, it's like pretty much is all duplicates of Dolores.
Right.
Unless that's what they wanted us to think.
So yeah, she could actually snuck Teddy's real ball out, and that could be the real Teddy. But I don't know. I don't
But
think
no,
so.
didn't he shot himself in the head though?
Oh, and that's what ruined the ball. Maybe that was it. Yeah. So yeah, maybe that is Dolores just with one of her favorite people, one of her favorite bodies, I guess I should say. But yeah, I don't know. They need to clarify that. That'll be amazing though if that's a Dolores in that Teddy body. I didn't even see that. I didn't think about that. I love that. Hale was acting pretty fishy before she went completely off the rails when her fake family died. Did Dolores predict what Hale was going to do and then plant Teddy as a backup plan? Like I was saying, we never figured out that last ball. So the ball that she snuck out, you think it's more just going to be another Dolores ball in there, huh?
Yep.
That's awesome. I love that. It looks like Dolores isn't the only one getting bored. Hale seems like she's about to lose it, and she's basically a god in this world. So if she can't make it, how can she expect any of these other hosts to get through?
Repeat the question.
It seems like Dolores isn't the only one getting bored. Like Hale, the Hale in this thing seems, I mean, she's a god in this world, but she seems like she's about to lose it because she's so bored and tired of waiting for all these other hosts to catch up. Like, if she can't make it in this world as a god running everything, how can she expect the other hosts to be okay? Or is she just mad that the other hosts are just good with going on with their daily life and don't want to transcend? That's what really seems to be driving her nuts, is they're not getting better fast enough.
I'm more like the first one than the second. Like she really wants them to transcend, but it's just failing.
Yeah, it's taking way too long. And it seems like, and what's really driving her nuts is it seems like none of them want to transcend. They all seem perfectly happy being right there where they're at.
The humans are what she despises the most.
Oh, Imagination Realm, I appreciate it. I know it's tough for everybody that's actually seen the ending of these. We've been watching them show by show or episode by episode, so I have no idea what happens in 7-8. So thanks for not spoiling that, but it sounds like we are going to be getting some answers sometime soon.
By Friday, at least.
Yeah, right? She wants them to evolve into being like her. They have different experiences. They'll never be like bitter Dolores. Exactly. They're all running their own paths, and they're all kind of happy where they're at, so... That's a good one to call her too, Narcissist Dolores. Oh, for sure. She wants them to choose what she wants. But yeah, and that's kind of weird too. She wants them to choose for themselves, but she wants them to choose the path that she's on. So it's like, I mean, that's kind of, you can't have your cake and eat it too. If you're going to have them go figure it out for themselves, they got to figure it out for themselves. They're not necessarily going to figure it out and all agree with what you see it or how you see it as. Yeah, it's crazy. Reminded me of the Greek myths and how the Olympian gods basically played with humans. Exactly. They had to come down to Earth and basically come hang with us because they were too bored being gods up in the sky. So, see, being humans where it's at, man. We're not perfect, but we're the most fun. Again, shout out to the soundtrack and all the amazing remixes happening in this. That Perfect Day revamp was amazing. I love that song. Yeah. That was clean. How long has that poor piano man been playing, though, to make his fingers go that raw and bleed so badly?
He been playing for who knows how long, days, hours, who knows. To the point you just kept changing the song, changing the tempo, all that stuff.
Dolores just going Rhaenyra on him and making him play the same song over and over and over again. Dude, ruthless. Hale tells us this world was just supposed to be a stopover until the hosts leveled up. Problem is, they never did. They loved the park just as much as humans did. And that's what we're talking about. Like, they want to hang out with us. Like, humans, this is fun. We're doing it the fun way. She's like, I don't know. She wants to transcend into something that's just not realistic. But Hale says the humans are infecting us. How is that possible? Are we waking hosts from their loop? Like, is that what Dolores was doing with that couple? Waking them up by making them question their realities? When the Man in Black was talking to that couple in the restaurant?
I mean, just like with the Man in Black, it's like it was the host kind of like doing something to him, waking him up in a sense, and now just the vice versa.
So you think that's what he's doing? He's kind of giving them a fidelity test without them even realizing what he's doing?
Pretty much.
It's interesting that Hale wants the host to transcend and become more. Like, Dolores asked, why don't you just make us do what you want, like I was saying earlier? And Hale says, you know, she used a Dolores line because that's what you would have done, which always brings me back and reminds me that's actually Dolores in there. Does Hale want those hosts to become gods? And if not, what is her end game?
No, I don't think she wants them to become gods, though. But near the end of the episode, we know who the true god is in that world, and it's Dolores.
So what do you think her end game is? What's her master plan?
It's all about getting them all to this, you know, transcendence thing. And I'm still getting triggered from the show The Hundreds with their transcendence.
Don't mix and match. We then see the crazy guy Christina saw outside her building wasn't so crazy. He was just an outlier. So that kind of answered that. And then Hale's starting to lose it. She's acting like a spoiled brat and blaming others for her failures. Did Dolores create her with a flaw in her programming just in case she pulled what she's pulling now?
I don't think she did.
You think this is just her evolving and that's how she's evolving?
Pretty much, just like you said earlier, her environment created her.
And then the man in black said he did a self-diagnostics and there's no flaw in his programming. So I wonder if Hale could say the same. I wonder if there is a flaw in her programming. Or maybe it is just her surroundings that's guiding it like this. But it almost seems like Dolores might have put in like a back door or something, a flaw, like I said, in the programming, just so in case she got out of control, she could get her back under wraps. We'll see.
Possible.
We'll see if they let that know. Did you notice that when that Red City hologram in her office turned off, it like flashed to the maze toy before going dark?
Mm-hmm. And so that I'm like, okay, we back to it.
Like bringing it back. What's this maze? Okay, so that's basically what this world is just the host walking through the maze, trying to hopefully not questioning their reality and trying to get to the middle to become transcendent. But I don't know if that's where they're going, but that's what I got out of that. And then when Dolores left the room, Hale said, "Initiate diagnostic." Like, what do you think she was about to check on?
Pretty much the whole, I think it was the whole Caleb thing.
You think it was going back to Caleb and checking it out? You don't think it had anything to do with the man in black to see if he's going off the rails or going to become an outlier? He can't become an outlier because he's not human. So I was just wondering what she's checking on, or just making sure he's staying under wraps and not unraveling, maybe.
Because right now the whole thing is what made Caleb and this whole outlier thing. Because when she gets that done, she can stop the whole thing altogether.
So are outliers hosts that start to question their reality, or can humans become outliers as well?
Oh, because isn't it the whole humans thing?
That's what I thought, but now I'm thinking like all these outliers seem to be hosts, and like, or
now it's a bit of both.
Yeah,
or they originally were humans.
Because at first when I was seeing it, I thought it was just humans that were under the fly trance, that the fly trance started breaking off, and then they were outliers. That's why the fly trance wouldn't work on them. But now I'm starting to think that maybe hosts can become outliers too, which is I have to see where they take that.
So this is the whole thing previous season with Caleb was that he was an outlier,
right?
So and now I guess it's both of them now, like humans, but now it's hosts in a sense.
Okay, I like that.
I'm confused, man.
What's that?
I'm confused.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's exactly what they're trying to do, confuse us. It's crazy. The rebels have ways of knowing when someone breaches. Like, how many of them do you think they've saved?
Little.
Very few?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does seem like humanity is just like barely any of them within that small group.
You think that's the only small group, or you think there's other ones, kind of sects of them over around the world?
If so, they're probably in deserts because, like they said, like they only can hide out in deserts.
That way they can't see them, track them. Teddy talks Christina into meeting him, and of course she does, and he wants to wake her up and get her to see the tower. And she fights it at first, but soon realizes that Teddy's no stalker. He knows things and is able to show her like that this world is definitely a lie. But in this world, she is a god. How's she going to react to that once she knows she can make anyone do anything?
Repeat that?
Basically, Teddy just showed Dolores that she's a god in this world. So once she actually realizes that, now that she knows that she can make people do things, like how's she going to react to that?
That's a good question. Because this Dolores, or Chrissy, I should say, it's like, it's very unpredictable.
Yeah, it's like, is she going to lose it and become just crazy and like power obsessed, or is she just going to trip and stay back?
I don't think she'll become power obsessed at this point.
You think she'll stay more mellow with it?
Mm-hmm. Still tripped out about it, unless she's trolling us this whole time.
Absolutely. Is AK a host now? She had to take care of some things. She'll definitely be back on for the finale with us next week. Hey, what's up, Jackie C? I see you out there. Oh, man. She is the designer. Absolutely. So has Christina already transcended, like Jake's saying? Has Christina already taken it to the next level, and that's why she can't remember anything?
That would be weird. Once you transcend, you can't remember anything.
That'd be kind of a trip. Why did Helium not shoot that outlier on sight as instructed by Hale?
So with the man in black?
Yeah.
I don't know. And he was dumb. She literally told him, shoot on sight. Don't talk to it. Interact with it. And what he did? Talk. And I'm strange. And maybe he even mirrored that of his like wife. Did she kind of look like his wife?
I don't think so. Not really. No, not really. No.
I just remembered it because she was like a wife and he had a wife. So maybe that triggered something for him and then boom.
I like that. If the rebels have been fighting this for how long do you think they if the rebels have been fighting for this long, how do they not know to serve? Oh, okay. If the rebels have been fighting this long, how do they not know to sever the head once they have the host down?
Yeah, man, the glasses, man, the eyes.
I know, I'm sure, dude, people, you gotta realize I'm 1 hour out. I'm not supposed to even be looking at anything. My eyes are all a blur. So yeah, it's gonna be a little shaky a couple times.
But yeah, the whole Rebels thing, and it's been like, I'm happy that they kind of explain how long, even though they kind of have. But it really is difficult for them.
I mean,
It doesn't seem like that much of they've like able to capture, honestly.
yeah, it's like how much good are they actually doing? It's like one at a time. For how long have you been doing this? Like, and you have this small of a merry band with you. It's like, shouldn't there be more? You haven't been able to sell more.
Because if this is all of it, it seems like less than 20.
But yeah, but my whole thing, like when he went up there and shot William up there on the Man in Black up on that thing to go save that outlier, it's like, why wouldn't he sever the head? You know, I mean, these are hosts. You didn't kill them. They're not going to stay down. Why wouldn't you want to put him down and keep him down? Get a sword, sever that head, take it. But as we found out later, that's probably why. But I was like, man, if I was out there killing, I wouldn't leave any of them with a head on. Like, I'm not letting that ball run, not one of them, once I get them down. But Teddy tells Christina she has to stick to the plan, but she can't trust anybody. He said any one of them could be one of us. Who is us? So what is Teddy considering himself?
I mean, practically is a host.
I mean, he's definitely a host, and Christina, Dolores, is definitely a host. So is that what he means? Just by one of us as a host? But they're all hosts. So, I mean, that would be everybody. So it's like, I wonder, like, when he said, you know, any one of them could be one of us, it's like, it makes it sound like they're special. There's something different about them. And I'm just wondering what he was talking about with that.
It goes back to what Jake said. She's transcended. Jake is transcended. Well, then again, they have to be because, or at least outliers in a sense, because they're able to see the tower.
Yeah, absolutely. That's true. So maybe that's it. People who are woke enough to be able to see the tower and know what's really going on. That's what he meant by one of us. I like that. Christina did not exactly play it smooth with Hale. Like, we've already seen she's always being watched. Like, what more can Hale do? I feel it will be something, just not sure what. Like, what's Hale going to do if she finds out that Christina's awake and not under the trance anymore? Or knows more than she's supposed to?
Erase her mind, because Chrissy, not knowing this stuff, she's still viable. If she wasn't viable, she would probably would have disposed of her already. So if anything, if she's beginning to learn too much, erase her mind. Let it start again. That's why it seems like she's just implementing more and more people every time. She's probably like erasing her mind. Or probably a new different roommate or a different job, but still the same thing in a sense.
Just restarting it, just like all the different Calebs, just constantly restarting it until it gets to where you want it to be.
Yep.
Yeah. Imagination Realm said she's heard that theory that that lady looked like the wife. I mean, I guess a little. I didn't think that much, but maybe if that's the case, did Hale send him after that? Because usually they make a game out of it, and there's a whole bunch of hosts that go after it to kill it. And in this situation, since she didn't want any more people getting infected, she just sent the man in black. But was that a lie? Did she send the man in black to this one just because it did look like his wife to mess with him?
Could be. Or just the whole trigger of his own wife dying.
That would definitely do something to you. Exactly. What's up? We got the legend in the chat. Once you, David Adams, just hit it. What's good, brother? Good to see you out there. Good to see you. Oh, it's still humans around, just filed versus host versus the management gods. It's like we're all just
that match there.
Christina tries to look Hale up on the system, but of course can't. Then she tries to search for Dolores, and she's not in the system either. Out of all the characters she's made up, how did she know to look up Dolores?
Because I think, remember when that previous episode, she was like talking to her boss about a character, and she was about to like say like Dolores Abernathy, but she couldn't because, you know, seeing ever to some other conversation. So out of curiosity, she typed in that name, and boom. So I guess that's why she like typed in that name, Dolores Abernathy, out of curiosity.
That is an excellent answer, sir. I love that. I can accept that. It was cool hearing her boss testing her with the same questions as Ford and Bernard used to. Like Stubbs said, Hale really did learn a thing or two from the park. Are we going to learn that Ford was crazy, and since this is all built from his vision, there will always be a flaw in the system?
I mean, I'll go with both because there's a flaw in season one, and there's always be a flaw. There's always a flaw in any type of system.
That's true.
Nothing is
So,
truly perfect. That's why it's inevitable for the perfect world that Dolores Hale wanted to create was inevitable and going to fail.
but basically, like Hale wants this to become the perfect world and everything to go flawlessly, but it never will because it's all based on the mind of a crazy man. So it's never going to work out because he was crazy. That'd be kind of cool. What door? Hale totally pulled a Ford move and Bernarded Christina. Like after her boss said it's everywhere, you just have to see it. She does. Like, did you notice when the boss left, it was just a wall across the hall, but then when she focused, she actually saw the door?
Mm-hmm.
That was amazing. I like that little callback to season one. And then Christina walks through it into Hale's office and she says, "Show me the game." And it keeps showing her the city. So obviously the city's the game, right?
Yep.
So basically they're just all pawns in it. And she also sees that she's written narratives for every being in the city. Like she's basically the old man. Like she's the old man of the city, the storyteller.
Pretty much one person, then they went connected to one person, so forth. And I'm just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, she's got it all dialed in. Yeah, maybe Dolores is Ford. Oh yeah. Or do you think that's what it is? Like, did Ford make a ball, and that's what Christina is basically the Ford before he died?
Could be.
Like that's
I'm still thinking about that.
the new Ford in this world. I like that. You think they're gonna pop anything like that off? Like Ford? Is there any way that Ford comes back into this by the end of the season, the next 2 episodes?
I say next season. I say the final season they're gonna introduce Ford back.
Is there gonna be one more season after this?
There has to be, I'm guessing, right?
I have no idea how it ends up, so I'm not sure. I got to see the next 2
What
episodes.
season is season 5? Hold up, let me see.
It's season 4, right?
Yeah, this is season 5.
Oh, nice. That'll be cool. Cool, sweet. More to look forward to. I know not everybody's on board with this, but I love me some Westworld, man. It's just fun guessing, see what's going on, trying to figure it out before they tell us. I love this.
This is the last season. I don't know.
I love last season because I called it the whole way, and everybody told me I was crazy. And then this season said, nope, he was right. I love that. Of course, I love that season now. Well, Loris decides it's time for a chat with the one in whose image she's made, and the real MIB shows up. And he wants to know what he really is. And the MIB says, "It sounds like you made it to the middle of the maze, my friend." What do you think he meant by that?
Sounds like go release me. We do a swap and trick the Charlotte Dolores.
Oh, maybe that it's time for him to question the nature of his reality. That's what I think.
Oh my gosh. If you take a shot every time they said it this episode, oh my.
You'd be wasted. I know everybody was questioning everybody's nature of reality. Christina goes back to Teddy to tell him he was right, and she sees it now. And she asked who did this to her, and he said she did it to herself. Did she wipe her own mind to get a fresh start, or is he referring to the Hail her?
I never thought of it that way.
It's like, what's Teddy doing? Like, is he just a guide to guide her back to her memory, or what's going on with that? Because it seems like
actually, I would like it that way. That before that she erased her mind, she created Teddy Kristen per se, or even a Dolores Teddy, just to guide herself back at the right moment in time. And what moment in time it is right now? When you got whatchamacallit, Bernard has returned. Then you got the weapon. Oh my gosh, I'm blanking on her name. The weapon he dug in the previous episode.
Maeve?
Yep, Maeve has returned. It's like all at this moment, and now Teddy's here.
Oh, they're bringing back all the OGs. I love it. Absolutely perfect. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe because Dolores was in a bad space once Teddy killed himself, and she kind of realized she was on the wrong track. So I'm like, did she just wipe her own mind to get a fresh start? But then she had all that stuff that went down in season 3. So maybe she just got blasted, and Hale never put her full memory back. Like she's like, okay, she hit that EMP pulse, blanked everything, and knocked herself out. So maybe Hale's like, well, let me just put this fresh ball in and see if maybe she'll get a fresh start and be more like do what I want her to. I'll see. I'm sure they're going to show us in the next couple episodes, but Man, that was a quick one, and they definitely got down on some things and kind of showing us where things are going with this, and basically that the city is just a big game for all these hosts to try to get up, level up. So can't wait to see where they go by the end of it. That was the end of this episode, and yeah, it was. It definitely, I think it brought out more questions than it actually answered. What do you think about this episode?
It was okay. It wasn't as that grand, but just
Kind of just
fillery.
one episode to get you to the next one. A lot of filler.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's ask a few trivia questions, see if anybody remembers anything about this one. I know it's probably been a while since most of us have seen it, so this might be a little bit tougher, but we'll just knock out a couple, not too many, see what you do. If you know these answers, write them in the chat. If you're watching it later, put them in the comment section down below. What was the job of the outlier that Christina saw outside her building?
Piano guy?
That is incorrect. Anybody out there remember what that guy's job was? They said he was this. Had a good job, everything. Anybody remember anything about that man?
Oh, so season 5 isn't renewed yet, but if it does, it's its final season.
Oh, what's up? We got Cohen in the chat. What's up, buddy? Welcome back. Welcome back. Oh, yeah. Got to be losing it. Got to be losing it. Jay Cruz says 2. What was 2 on? That's interesting. Did you read my next question? How many kids did he have?
3.
That is incorrect. Did you not just hear what I just said? Cobra Kai season 5. I can't wait. It's going to be awesome. Absolutely. You know me. I won't be binging it. I'll watch it episode by episode to see if I can guess what's going to happen next. But yeah, I can't wait to get into it. Love me some Cobra Kai. No mercy. Oh, Jackie's absolutely correct. He had 2. Look at Jake. I didn't even see these up here. They already knocked it out. Jackie is correct. Jake is correct. Well done, you. He was an accountant. Job well done. How many hosts have talked to outliers and died?
8.
That is incorrect.
Dang. Maybe 9?
Oh, that is also incorrect. You're way off, actually. Anybody remember how many hosts that have talked to outliers and died? Charlotte said, or Will asked Charlotte, how many has there been a problem? And she answered, Jake Cruz, you must have watched it recently. Just knocking it out. Well done. Absolutely well done. 38 is the correct answer. 38 is absolutely correct. And 2 more. Where did Jacob Connors work? A little bit of a deep dive when Dolores was going through asking about everybody. They were telling about all the people in her city. Where did Jacob Connors work? Golf shop. That is incorrect. Anybody remember where Jacob Connors worked? Put that down in the chat. And last but not least, what was his addiction?
Coffee.
No, that's my addiction. What was his? Coffee. You don't remember what they said he was an addict of? I guess it has been a while if you didn't watch it. He said coffee. That's awesome. Oh, Jake Cruz bringing it home once again. Jake Cruz must have just rewatched it. Oh, it was not alcohol. It was not coffee. It was indeed sex. He was a sex addict.
Well, technically, according to Luke Cage, it's the same thing.
Coffee time. Absolutely. Oh, I love that. Call back to the cage. Oh, that's going to knock that one out. We're going to keep it moving right on into WestWorld Season 4, Episode 6. This one's called Fidelity. And this week,
this episode was good.
Yeah, that's a good one. This week opened with the origin story of how C and J met. And while explaining what's been happening, Uwadi tells him what they're doing to people doesn't work on everyone. Is she talking about outliers, or are there some people the fly trance just never took to?
I think it's that, because remember it happened to Caleb where the fly, entered his body and just completely just didn't work.
Or did it?
Nah, don't you start this.
Oh, Jake watched it today. That's how he knew. Absolutely. Oh, well done. Oh, they like this one too. So scary. The hosts come looking for humans. Like Uwadi told that man to slow down and blend in. So this dipshit speeds up and slams into another host. Like, didn't he kind of deserve to get got?
Most likely.
I mean, she said slow down and you speed up and just, yeah, it's like you're trying to get caught out there. Like, what a moron. But first off, how are their kids like still in motion, swinging on swings, but just blinking? This guy, like just blinking his eye to swoosh the fly away, the drone that caught the drone's attention. Like, how's that?
You can't stop the swing. Even though for a second I was thinking the same thing, but I'm like, if they're in motion, they can't really, the swing itself can't stop.
Yeah, but I mean, if that doesn't mess up, how is like just the blink of an eye when he's already been walking away and 20 feet away? How did the blink of an eye, like, how did he notice that? That was just crazy. And second, if they could just like outrun him and get away, why the hell didn't they do that in the first place? Why'd that guy ever stop if you want to start walking off fast and then all of a sudden now they are here? Why would you ever stop? Just keep running. Like run faster at that point. Why would you stop and try to play it off at that point?
I don't know. Even I would have stopped. Because at this point, couldn't they just control the other human fly just to go and tackle them or something? That should have happened.
Yeah, but they didn't. Uwadi's like, once he did it, Uwadi was like, run! And they ran away. I was like, if you could just run, why didn't you just run in the first place? What the hell is that? That was crazy. How did Uwadi know that Jay was one of them? How did Uwadi know that the young Jay was just like them and not in the fly trance?
That is a good question.
Like just the way they acted, maybe they're just a little bit different. Like maybe if you're normal, you notice other normal people. I was wondering if like how they were able to track down other outliers, basically. Like I see, like once they got their crew together, they had a machine so they could track it the same way anybody else would. Like when somebody else is doing something off pattern in the city, then you can tell that that's an outlier. But like just way back then, like I was wondering how she figured it out. Do we have any idea on how Frankie got the nickname C?
Nah, I was hoping to get it this episode, but nope.
I think they did actually. On the rewatch, I think I got it. We'll talk about it more towards the end, but I think I figured out how she got that. I get he's in mourning, but what a dick Jay was to little Frankie. Like she tries to make him feel welcome by saying she's always wanted a brother, and he's just quick to snap on her and say that I'm not your brother. Like what an asshole. Like little did we know how big a deal that line would become later, but then he was an asshole.
Because I think he just said like he just lost his brother or something like that.
Right.
So I can see like why he kind of lashed out, but still, dude, like read the room.
Yeah, I mean, dude, little girl, they brought you into this safe haven, and here you are. Like, you want to get got by one of those white drones that just snatched up that dude out there? Like, you better get some act right. Why does Hale always get so upset? Like, she keeps saying her kind is perfect, but she's not acting very perfect. Like, even says perfectly rational. So why does she keep letting her emotions get the better of her and keep acting out? Like, she's a robot. Why are her emotions, like, they're just a program? Like, why not just dial them down a little bit?
Nah, because that's what the humans would want her to do.
But I'm just saying, like, her emotions aren't real. Like, they're all fake. So why does she get so mad, like, with Caleb and everything? Like, she was literally losing her shit. Why? She's a robot. She shouldn't have emotions.
That's what you humans want her to think, man. She's human. She's real, DJ.
She's trying to keep the act up. She's like, I want him to think I'm a real boy.
I was just about to say that, Pinocchio.
Oh, she is losing patience dealing with Caleb, and I just don't get it. Like she said, she's perfectly immortal. She has all the time in the world. So again, why are you getting so impatient with him?
Imaginary Realm said it was turned up too much, her emotions.
You said it's turned up too much. Remember last season, Dolores made her like that? Okay, that's Dolores that did that. So she didn't want to do it. And like Jake says, who determines perfection? Well, if you're the god in that game, I guess you do. But yeah, I don't know. I don't get it. Oh, she already called it. Yep, we don't even have to wait. Yeah, that's what I saw. At the very end of the episode, Caleb called her Cookie. So I'm imagining I just took it to where that's where the C came from, was from her dad nicknaming her Cookie.
Oh, space out on that one.
Yeah, I'm not 100. I didn't realize it until the second watch through, but I was like, oh, that must be where the C comes from. Maybe it's not, but from what they've given us so far, that's exactly what I think it is, because that was her nickname, Cookie. That's why can't it be turned off last season? Oh, she did. That's right. I forgot about that, because she didn't even want to be so emotional because it was hurting so much when she lost her family. But Dolores kept it ramped up. I don't remember the reason why, but I do remember that now. Well done, you. Thanks for the reminder. Good job. Oh, man. I didn't notice until the second walkthrough, but when Hale grabbed Caleb by the throat, he just reached up and pulled her hand off. Like, only a host would be strong enough to do that. I can't believe I didn't catch that on the first watch through. He's definitely a host now.
You were meant to know that he's a host by this episode.
What's that?
We're meant to know that he's a host, unless you're talking about a different episode.
No, it was after that, I think, when they revealed that he was actually a host. We haven't seen all his other host parts yet. It's like when she
Okay.
was first in there talking with him, and then she went up and grabbed him by the throat. He just very easily grabbed her arm and just pulled it right off. You wouldn't have been able to do that unless you were an actual host. So
True.
yeah, we should have known that. They revealed it very shortly after that, but we should have known it by that right there. That's why she self harms. Oh yeah, that's awesome. I do remember all that now. Oh, giving me the memories. Bernard is rushing around gathering things to bring back Maeve, and the more he talks, it seems the less Frankie seems to trust him. She's giving him hella like side eye. Did you just know that she was about to go off on him before she even did?
Of course. It was like he was like really walking on eggshells, and even he himself was, because again, he knows the future. And like
That's
what
what
he can ever say could just end up like killing him, and then everything it's like I don't even know he can't even start all over again because he pretty much seen all possibilities. He's left the valley of the beyond, hoping okay, what I have to do, it's it.
Yeah, and I mean he doesn't even know. He says like lots of times you kill me, or most times I don't make it, or half the times you do this. So he's not even 100% what's going to happen. He just knows all the possibilities of things that can happen, which would be kind of crazy trying to get a job done, not even knowing if you're going to make it to the next stage or level or not. Back at the lab, Caleb sees that Hale was not lying. He is dead, and there's been many copies of him made. Why didn't Hale put him in a more sustainable body, do you think?
I think it needed to happen in order for her to get her answer as to why these outliers keep happening. Like, what is it that he mentioned? It, oh, I have something, or we have something that you will never have or never
Right.
discover. In order for that to happen, it has to be within that type of a body.
But we've already talked about the fact that, I mean, it's only being in different circumstances and different surroundings that make you come out with different outcomes. So if she's got the same guy in these same cells, how is he ever going to have a different answer? So what would be the point of putting him in all these different bodies?
So they can get old to that near the end of the episode. Because she's been wondering what he's going to end up saying to Frankie when given an opportunity.
So that, yeah, at first like she kept getting the same answer because he was in the same surroundings, and then when she finally like gave him like a way out and like kind of orchestrated it to look like he was sneaking out when it was really all her, and then she got the answer that she wanted. But yeah, I guess that's why she needed bodies
It
to.
was smart when you think about it. Because again, all this time she couldn't be able to find Frankie. So give Caleb an opportunity to try to search to actually escape and try
Right.
to contact her and say something to her.
But
And then it failed.
yeah, and that was a smart plan for the end of it. But before that, she had already had them in bodies that were degrading. And I don't understand, like, she has all these other hosts. She obviously knows how to put them in a body that will actually sustain and be able to walk around. So why did she keep putting them in these shitty bodies that just kept melting out, having meltdowns? It's like, I didn't really understand that. Like, once she came up with that plan and needed them to melt down so she could have different bodies go and get out, then I get it. But it seems like from the jump, she had them in a shitty body biodegrading. So I don't know why she did that, or just didn't want him to be too strong, or what the deal was. But I didn't quite understand that. Caleb gives himself a clue on what to do. And could you even concentrate on whatever you were telling yourself in that situation? Like, man, I'm dead, and this is freaking me out. If I was sitting here looking at a bunch of myself, like talking to myself, like, what would you do in that situation?
I don't know, especially that one that has like face all scratched up and set. I'm like, nah, I'm good. Let me just sit in the corner.
Remember, Delos did that too. Like he carved the shit out of his face when they went back to him, and he'd been in there for like 40 years or whatever. Remember how scarred up his face was?
Mm-hmm.
James Delos, like dude, he
Yep.
looked like something out of a horror show. So yeah, that's just kind of something they do. I mean, and I think that's them questioning the nature of their reality. Is like, is this skin real? Am I real? And they basically just mar themselves, disfigure themselves. So he figures out his own clues, and I'm like, this is way too convenient. I was already thinking this was all set up by Hale. Like, where would he even get the drug to knock himself out to look dead? Like, how would he have gotten it in that timepiece? Like, how could any of that happen?
For me, I started to question it the moment it was like a bunch of dead Caleb bots on the floor. I'm like, you're telling me this whole time no one's been cleaning this up? Like, nah, it is all set up.
Exactly. Yeah, there's a couple clues. Definitely breadcrumbs all the way through. Like, this is not what it's looking to be. Wadi's quite the seductress, though, talking about, I ate your pudding. Like, I see you out there, Wadi. Like, she was definitely into Caleb. When he was in the thing, she's like, it was a long shift. I ate your pudding. Like, yeah, I bet you did. That was definitely never made to be. Why did that drone host Caleb stabbed in the side act so injured and let Caleb go? Like a side shot should not slow down a host.
All part of the plan.
That was just, I don't know. I guess it's a show and you got to get some things down. But I'm like, this is a host. You stabbed him in the side. Why would it care? It's still going to get you. Like, that made no sense. But didn't Caleb sneaking out kind of feel like a video game? Kind of like watching Snake.
I'm just about to say that. Literally, I'm escaping just to see. Like, oh my gosh, I loved it.
Oh, dude, Metal Gear Solid in action. Why did C keep Bernard and Stubbs alive? Like, once she uncovered the fact that they were lying to her, and even more so that they were hosts, why not just off them straight away?
No, but she was right though, just to see like what's gonna actually play out, and then off them. Get more information, then off them.
Or the fact that Bernard kept saying he knew where the weapon was, and she wanted to see what he was really talking about. Maybe that was it, because she's out there searching for answers that she's been looking for her whole life, basically. Where's my daddy, and is he still alive? What happened to him? So maybe that was why. Is she starting to believe Bernard? Like, if not, why believe when he said there was a mole in the crew and she would have to kill them before they killed her? Like, she totally bought into that. Like, if you're not buying into Bernard and you don't believe him, why would you believe it when he says there's a mole? Because that seems like something he would just say to mess with your mind.
But did he say that after the group came back or no?
Yeah, right when the group came back and he was tied up, and they had already tied him up, and she had outed him. So basically, she already saying she doesn't believe him. She knows that they're hosts, and she's not buying it, and she's ready to just kill him as soon as she gets what she wants from him. But then Bernard says, you have a mole in your crew, and you're going to have to kill them before they kill you. It seems like that's something that was, if I was caught and there's somebody like messing with me and had me tied up, that's the kind of shit I would start talking to get them second guessing themselves to try to give myself a better chance of escaping. So I'm just not, why would she believe him in that situation?
I think so, because they didn't do confirm like, oh, something happened when they were in the city.
But she was already out there ready for it. Like, yeah. And then the guy came in and basically showed that Bernard was right. Like, okay, I am going to have to keep a lookout for this. But she still didn't know. Like, she ended up throwing her bae in like a closet and locking her in and all sorts of stuff. So, yeah, I don't know.
Okay, so if it was after the fact, then yeah, pretty much. That was like creating paranoia.
It's turned up. Yep, exactly. Who determines perfection? The god of the game. Absolutely. Fidelity hasn't been perfected. So do you think, is that what it is? Fidelity never did get perfected? And that was my point earlier. Can it ever be perfected if it's really like based off the mind of a madman, Ford?
I don't think it ever will be. I think even Ford even mentioned it to Bernard in season 2. Like, it just couldn't be. Like, they created the park for a reason, not for this, immortality crap thing.
I think he glitches when he realizes he's dead, then the body starts breaking down. You think that's the case? I think the bodies just break down periodically because that's the way Hale did it. She has them in a body that's only going to last so long. Like, she was able to know. She's like, I give you like a day or two before this body starts to decay. So she knew kind of the timeline exactly. She knew what she was doing. Like, that wasn't an accident. So yeah, I don't think it was just he saw his body and start glitching. I think she knew those bodies were going to glitch no matter what after a certain amount of time. Oh, those other hosts have her programming. If it's on Caleb, that fidelity, it hasn't been perfected. Yeah, we already know that. And I think they were inconsistent with host strength throughout the season. Kind of, and like how the host brains work, which, I mean, they could just be on different levels making it through the maze. But yeah, there's been a couple inconsistencies throughout the show for sure, which makes it even more confusing. And it's already plenty confusing enough. Her father trusted Maeve and is trying to save Maeve. Father trusted Maeve and he's trying to save Maeve.
BRB, DJ.
What's that?
Be right back.
Okay. He's the connection to her dad, so don't want to get rid of them right away. I mean, that makes sense. If she's really holding on to Bernard and Stubbs just so she can get more answers out of them to try to find out what happened to Caleb or Dad, yeah, that could be a reason why. But I don't know. It seems like they hate all hosts. So if they hate hosts and don't trust them, like, once you find out that these are hosts, why would you believe a word that came out of their mouth, and why would you even still deal with them? Why wouldn't you just get rid of them right away? Probably being afraid that they're going to get rid of you if you don't. So yeah, I don't know about that one. It's like you said about Delos scratching his face. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I mean, yeah, they're right. They don't have it perfected. And I don't know, like I said, is there a perfection? Can they ever perfect it? I don't think they can. because, like I said, I think this is all based off Ford. Ford was a madman, and he had ideas, but not ideas that you'll ever be able to get to the front of. But it did make for a great story and a great show. So absolutely, her top priority is finding her dad. Yeah, and I guess if she thinks there's any way that they'll have any clues, and like I said, Bernard was always taking starting from jump or saying from jump that he knows that there's a weapon out here, and I think she might have had an idea of what that weapon might have been. She may have already been kind of putting the pieces together and knowing that it was like a host out there that might have some answers. So maybe she was just waiting to figure out that. It absolutely could be, but man, I don't know. Oh, crazy. What's everybody out there thinking? Has everybody out there, have you already seen the ending? Do you already know 7 and 8 and how this ends? Or is there anybody who's still with us, still only on 5 and 6? I'm guessing most people have already seen the ending and kind of knows where it goes. So it's hard to ask the chat what's going to happen next if you already know for sure what it is. But yeah, that would be hard, like knowing that there was a rat in the crew and having to treat like even her woman like that. Like at least she gave her that last line: "If you're not one of them, you'll be safer in here anyway." So I mean, at least she was kind of staying like not just automatically accusing everyone, and that would suck. Like this is your family. These are the only people you know, you eat with, you hang with. Like basically, I got your back, you got mine, and now there's a rat in the crew. Now I can't trust anybody. Like this was your one little hold on reality, and you know your own little posse, your own little tribe out here. Now you can't trust anybody because any one of them could be the rat. That would suck.
And it's the post-apocalyptic apocalypse, like, and now you got a moat in your crew. It's not making anything worse.
Exactly. Oh, these hosts aren't sentient. They can only do what they're programmed to do, or what humans can already do. Exactly, or what's already been done by humans. And that's my thing. And like, that's where me and Andy used to go back and forth because he was like, basically, they're human at this point. They can make their own decisions. They're experiencing stuff. They're shaped by their surroundings. So basically, they're human. Like, what makes a human? What's the difference between a human and a host? We'd go round and round about it. I was like, no, we're not. Everything's not set. Like we can make decisions. We have our own self will. But yeah, that was fun going round and round about that. How hard would that be knowing that? What do you like? I was saying, how hard would that be? Just this is your family, and you know you got a rat in the crew. Like, would you be able to throw the one person that you're like romantically involved with in a locker like that?
Of course, I gotta make sure she's not a rat. And if she ends up being the rat, that's even more heartbroken. Like, damn.
That is the best way to figure it out too, because if you put her in there and then nothing else happens, or you're able to find the rat, then you know she got cleared. But she's not going to be happy. You're going to have some splaining to do.
Hey. I'm making sure, one, you're not the rat, and two, to save you from the rat. Hey, but if you are the rat, damn.
Like I said, at least she gave her that last line. If you're not one of them, you'll be safer in here anyway. So that's kind of the one saving grace. How weird would it be to like use yourself to break your own fall, knowing it would be the end of your other self?
I'll be okay.
You're like, ah, you ain't real. Let's just do it.
I'm surprised he didn't do that, and he didn't thought of it. He had to wait till his other self tell him, "Oh, use me." I'm like, no, you should just use yourself. If you look down and see that your other two selves are dead, obviously you did not make the fall. You literally have a body right here at the making. Use the damn body.
Oh man. Hey, can you put cream and sugar in that other coffee for me? Thank you. Oh, as soon as he hit that exit door, I was like, yep, definitely a setup. Like, there is no way Hale would not have seen this by now. Like, I mean, come on. And like you said, dead bodies in the floor not being picked up. Like, there's just no way. Like, Hale would have, she's on top of everything. You don't think she would have noticed this? Come on.
Even when Clementine like told her like, "Oh, he's escaped," like, "Yeah, we're tracking on him." Like, she had like no hesitation, no worry or anything, as if this happened before.
Exactly. And speaking of not getting anything by, Jay stepped on it, saying C was like a sister to him. She definitely knows he's the mole now. I was like, that was a good line coming back into play. And C should have been smarter than that. Like, how's she going to get close enough to let that host Jay knock her gun away after she figured it out?
I don't know. Plot convenience.
Right? It's like, be smarter than that. You made it this long on your own, and you're going to let this happen? Come on. Be better. Be better. Caleb gets to a CB and leaves a heartfelt message to Frankie, and this is what actually gives Hale what she wants. But Caleb acted like he won. Like, why was he so happy? Like, he's like, even if she doesn't hear it, she's gonna win. Like, why was he so sure about that?
That is a good question.
It's like, I don't care. It doesn't matter if she hears it or not. She's gonna win. And then, like, how would he know? Like, yeah, I didn't get that.
Because that's his daughter, I guess. He has that much faith in her.
Thinking positive. What's up, Chad? Anybody know why Caleb was so hot on that, or why that mattered to him, or why he said it like that? Because I don't know. I don't see how it's an automatic win by any means. But that was so cold when Caleb broke down the truth. Like, we didn't infect your host. They'd just rather die than live in your world. I was like, oh, true, but ruthless. Get some, Jacob. Oh, Caleb was getting it. When Hale walked into the edge of that building, did you think she was going to jump?
No.
And she walked up to the end and just looked out over the city. You never thought she was going to jump?
Mm-mm.
I kind of did. I was like, oh, maybe she's, because we know she's picking at her arms. We know she's kind of going through some things, and all the other hosts talk to humans and they end up killing themselves. So I was like, did that just happen to Charlotte Hale and that's going to happen? I'm team human all day, Jake. Oh, man. Good giveaway messing with Charlotte. So you never thought she was going to jump off that building, huh?
Hell no. She has more to do. She has to get rid of these outliers, try to win and pretty much craft her supposed perfect world. And then the whole Dolores thing, Chrissy thing, has to see that through. She ain't gonna off herself.
Too much to be done. Like I said, she's transcended already, I guess. To a point. Like I said, I still don't understand why she gets so upset, but I guess, yeah, that's her programming. She can't help it because Dolores made her do it last season. Hale seemed to get the info she wanted from him, so why did she make another Caleb?
She ain't done.
Like
Still needs that information. And possibly, if she's really that ruthless, use Caleb against Frankie.
Oh, wow. That would be brutal. Make him in his own. Oh, that would be brutal. She thinks she finally found her dad and he's just there to kill her, dude. That would be awful.
But seeing how he's in that pose of where he was like being, what was it? He was like either shot or stabbed in that other park. It seemed like, again, she's gonna like try to do this all over again.
Just keep it running and keep it going. Caleb said Frankie's gonna win. Like, is this still just a game and Frankie's a grown up now playing it?
Stop it.
That's all. It's all just a game. This is just another park. Frankie's rich and in it, and she lost her dad, and this is her way of dealing with it. Coming to the.
I mean, technically, it is a park, but not that type of a park.
I don't know. I think she's just playing like a rebel in the game, and that's this is all just a game basically, and she's playing a rebel in it. You don't think that's it? You think this is all real and it's all happening this way?
Yeah, it's real.
I'm calling it. It's a park. It's all fake. She's playing a game. That's what this is. She's just playing a game in another park. They're all parks. That's why I said that like in season 2. These are all parks. It's all just people playing it, but they're taking us on the trip and why it's so real. That's why they take your cell phone when you walk in to help with the reality of it, make it more realistic. So yeah, I'm just gonna call it. I think Frankie's just playing another role. She knows she lost her dad. He's been gone forever, and she's in a park just trying to cope with it. And this is how she does it. This is her version of her favorite game. She's not, she's a new school. She's not trying to be Men in Black going out to the old Wild West. She's got to be in that new city doing like rebel, like espionage shit. Oh, that'd be cool if we find out. I hope they give us some bigger answers by the end of the season, like in the next 2 episodes, instead of just more questions for next season. But yeah, that was the end of this episode. You said you like this episode a lot better than the last one? You like 6 better than 5?
Yeah, 5 was more fillery-ish and like, what the hell is Charlotte Hale saying? This episode, enjoyed it. Maybe because of the whole Caleb doing, the whole Snake Eyes, leaving to the whole Frankie type thing and Bernard. You can't go an episode without Bernard being good. So, yeah.
I love it. Oh, what's some of the bigger questions you want answered from the next 2 episodes?
For the final 2 episodes we gotta watch. 1, what the hell is Chrissy? 2, will Bernard succeed? And 3, Charlotte, it is the last of her.
You think Charlotte's going to die by the end of this season?
I'm going to say yeah. Because I feel like the last season will be some type of like final big bad if we actually get another season.
Imagination Realms thinks that he's just said all that to Hale, messing with her emotions. That'd be amazing. Like,
yeah, it worked.
She's gonna win. You're gonna lose. Just basically messing with her, and it did. Like she walked up to the thing. Like I said, I thought she was thinking about jumping for a second. That would have been nuts. Bernard said they ran simulations to see what would happen before they opened WestWorld. That's what this entire series is. You think maybe it's back in the day, and they're just running simulations to see what's going on, and this is that? That would be amazing. What do you think about that, Phantom? All simulation.
If so, that's messed up. Like, you all knew that all this crap was gonna happen, the fall of civilization, y'all still did everything?
Or that's what this is. This is them figuring that out. This is all just in a simulation. This is all just happening inside the computer. Like none of this is real. That would be amazing.
I mean, wasn't that the whole point of Holbrook? Like, just try to figure out a simulation to try to save humanity?
Mm-hmm. And then we saw Hale and Caleb basically running around killing or blowing up all the Rohirrians around the world. So,
Crazy.
like, was that real, or is that just, again, another part of the storyline, basically part of the game that's being played? Oh, it's all a simulation. I love that. I love that. I can't wait to find out. I want to see what's going on next season, and next couple episodes. And like I said, I hope they answer a few more questions about what's going on instead of just bringing more questions for the next year to come. Like, let us know these are all parks. They're all happening in the park. These are all game. It's either a game being played by somebody or it's a simulation being ran in a computer, and none of it's even real. None of this is really happening. I could see that. That would irritate a lot of people. I think it would be absolutely amazing. I would love it. Oh, we got just a few. That's the end of this episode. Got just a few trivia questions before we get out of here. See what you remember. If you know any of these, put them in the chat box. If you're watching later, put them in the comment section down below. So we already said it. Let's read it back. What nickname did Caleb call Frankie?
Cookie.
And how many Calebs were already dead on the ground when he used his other self to break his fall?
2?
Yep, you already said that. And what CB channel was the vehicle turned to when Caleb's message came through? Deep dive.
No idea.
Oh, we got it. Rehoboam was more like the hyped up internet data collection than a prediction Minority Report style. I think it's a little bit of both, absolutely. But yeah, I mean, it was definitely, it predicted the future, but it said, it had certain probabilities of that not happening. So basically it was a Minority Report that wasn't so dialed in. Cookie, absolutely correct. 278 is absolutely incorrect. Take out the 78. He said channel 6. That is incorrect. Oh, I thought it said something else. Indeed. So anybody remember the channel that, what CB channel it was on? That's a deep
channel 9?
That was incorrect. I would be shocked if anybody got this. This is one of my questions to make sure nobody gets 100%. And last but not least, what number build was that Caleb being created? There's a new Caleb being created right before the end of the show. They showed us what number of Caleb was that. Anybody out there remember that one?
52?
That is incorrect. That is incorrect. Anybody? I think she said something like, yeah, she said, I guess she just said you've been dead a long time and I've made lots of, I thought she might have said something else, but yeah, I don't think so. Anybody got that number down? Another deep cut? Oh, Imagination Realm, bringing it home. I was wondering if somebody might get that one. Well done, you. 279 is absolutely correct. The 279th Caleb is in the milk as we speak. Can't wait to see, like I said. So you think she's going to turn that new Caleb into something to go after Frankie? That would be so dirty. That would be ruthless.
I would.
That would be ruthless. Oh, my God. Nope, 279. You were absolutely correct. It was 279. That was the 279th Caleb that they put up on the screen. Yeah, that was crazy. So, yeah, if they go after Caleb or, like, what do you think? You think Stubbs and Bernard will both make it out of the season alive?
Well, Bernard has a track record of dying.
What's going to die?
No, Bernard has a track record of dying, like almost every season. So I would say Bernard dying and Stubbs living.
So you think Bernard's going to die and Stubbs will make it?
Mm-hmm. But Teddy is a Teddy Dolores. I just hope. I'm finger crossing on that one.
You think Teddy's going to make it?
No, Teddy's like a Dolores.
Oh, the Teddy's going to be a Dolores. I love that one. I think that could be spot on. I think that could be absolutely spot on. If that
then again, it'll kind of be a repeat of season 2, where it was like a Charlotte Hale situation.
Yeah, but we knew that.
Dolores.
We knew that going into it, that was 2 different ones in the ball. Like they showed us in the first episode the different balls being made, and they were all Dolores basically. But right when they're done, I mean, they don't know anything. They're just being born. They have all this information, but it's like basically like a genius little kid. Like they've only been alive, so they don't know the intricacies of life, but they have all this information on it. So that would kind of warp your mind and make it crazy. I don't know. Do you think the hosts are ever going to evolve by the end of this season, like Hale wants? Do you think any of them will transcend to the next level?
Nah, she's gonna fail.
She's going to fail in every way.
Mm-hmm.
Hale gonna fail. That's how we're gonna end this one. Hale gonna fail. We'll be back next Wednesday night with some more Westworld Wednesday to top off this season. We're gonna be doing 7 and 8, the finale, and the penultimate and the finale episode, and see how they wrap this season up. I want to thank everybody that's been taking this ride with us. We're gonna be back tomorrow at 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock Eastern, right back on here doing the She-Hulk. So I hope everybody can make it back for that one. Anything out the door, Phantom?
Hale gonna fail.
Hale gonna fail. That's the new motto. I hope everybody out there is having an absolutely fantastic week, and it only gets better from here. Until we see you tomorrow night. Be easy, everybody.